Hello, everyone, and welcome to our coverage of Joker 2. Um,
Jokering.
what was that?
The Jokering.
Yes. Evan, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Declan. How about you?
I'm doing well, maybe better than Bo Burnham's doing.
Ooh.
But no, I kid. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Um, but someone I'm definitely doing better than is Drake Bell. Um, as he is most likely imprisoned and we're never gonna get a Drake and Josh reboot, isn't that so?
Isn't that upsetting?
Yeah, it's really upsetting. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see a Drake and Josh reboot. You know, bring the gang back, Crazy Steve.
Which one was
But
Crazy Steve? I don't remember him.
well, this is will play into the one of the first things we talk about. He's played by Jerry Trainer, who also plays Spencer in iCarly.
Yeah.
And Miranda Cosgrove is Megan and Drake and Josh, but she's also Carly in iCarly. And iCarly is being rebooted on Paramount Plus starting, I think, this month, like mid this month, it comes out. And we got a trailer for it. We watched it. We watched it before we started recording. Do you have anything you want to say about this?
I'm very. I remember distinctly there was like a card that says the show you remember, and I'm like, wow, they're very coming out in the open about it. Like, hey kids, or hey former kids, you
Yes.
remember that thing? Here it is again.
Mm-hmm.
Only on this fledgling streaming service that five people in America have.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get it so you can watch this show that you've seen, but like this time it's going to be TVPG instead of TVG.
Yeah.
Then watch it.
Yeah, there was one use of a swear word which we would have never got on Nickelodeon, and oh my gosh, could you imagine?
All I heard was sexy. That was the word.
Oh yeah, there was that too. But
Which you can't say in Nickelodeon.
no, you
Dan-
can't, and it's very clear that Paramount Plus is playing to their audience here. And we'll have no Sam in this. And I guess we won't have Gibby either, because I think that would they have shown him in the trailer?
Maybe he's the surprise.
Maybe he is a surprise. Yeah.
Maybe he comes back from like the war and he's like really buff, but he's got
Uh-huh.
PTSD. And some firecrackers go off and he ends up like slaughtering the cast of iCarly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch this, to be honest, because I'm stupid. And but yeah, I can't
You
say.
already have Paramount Plus, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm an avid watcher of Survivor, so I'll use my subscription for that too. Um, yeah, I'm gonna miss Gibby. I'm gonna miss Sam. But Spencer's back. Freddie's back. Neville is coming back. It looks like. Um, Mrs. Benson is coming back. I just really need them to bring Tebow back too, and see what he's selling these days at whatever the smoothie place is called.
Seeing
Um,
Freddie with facial hair
yeah,
was
right.
really
Because he was
upsetting.
such a pipsqueak in the when the show started.
He looks like Tony Soprano's son.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I don't like anything about it.
Okay, I'm glad you're honest. Okay. So, do you want to come to the defense of Drake Bell?
I think that's for his lawyers to do. Uh, I guess. Hey, listen, who hasn't, you know, accidentally endangered a child once
Yeah,
or twice in their long storied career?
I think it's something. I think it's something everyone has to go through.
Yep.
Um, yeah, So if you don't know what we're talking about, Drake Bell, I think he was charged with like child endangerment. And there's a pretty funny mugshot of him. Um, yeah, this is kind of sad though. You know what I loved? I loved Drake and Josh, but I loved did you ever see that animated Spider-Man series where he voiced Spider-Man on Disney
Oh
XD?
yeah,
I
that was
really liked that show.
Spider, wasn't it? Or was it Ultimate Spider?
I think it was no. Uh it might have been Ultimate. I forget. It's one of the adjectives. Um I think it was Ultimate, to be honest. I'll double check. But yeah, I liked that show. I thought his voice acting was pretty good. A sad day for us Drake Bell fans, which we obviously are.
It was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay. Yes, I think that's on Disney Plus. So if you ever want to watch that, because I used to watch it.
Imagine like they do the Drake and Josh like comeback series, and
Yeah.
it like the two screens, but like Drake is in like a jail cell.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty
Josh
funny.
goes, yeah, Josh goes, you hear about what happened to my brother? Yeah, he locked his kid in a hot car. It was really bad. And then, Drake starts speaking. He's like, you hear? And then you hear a warden going like, shut up in there.
Oh, that's awesome. It's not awesome because he endangered a child, but
It's not awesome for little Timmy Bell.
right. So yeah. Um
Little Drake.
um all right. Let's let's have a little I'll lay out some options for you. So there were two things that were kind of big on the internet this week that we can talk about. We can talk about Bo Burnham's Inside, his new special that he made and put on Netflix, or we can talk about what movie did Edgar Wright see?
I
He
guess let's rush right in with Bo Burnham.
All right. So if anyone doesn't know who Bo Burnham is, he does his comedy basically through music. He started on YouTube when he was like a teenager, pretty young, and through that he's kind of made a career in comedy ever since, doing different specials through music, and he has a pretty big following. Most of them are pretty stereotypical people who really like his stuff. And I don't think he's that controversial or whatever. I just think it's like you either really hate him or you really love the stuff he does. I like his special from 2016 that's on Netflix, and it was in Radio City, Make Happy. I like that one more. I saw it when I was younger, so I guess it's more of a like nostalgia thing. But that's my favorite thing of his. I just watched his movie Eighth Grade last night, actually, and I thought he wrote and directed it, and I thought it was great. But his new special is called Inside, and obviously it was made over the past year when he was inside, but he wrote, directed, edited, and did it all himself. And yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, granted, he probably had money from Netflix, which they obviously have a lot of money, but yeah, nonetheless, pretty impressive. I watched the whole thing, and I think the songs are very catchy. But Bo Burnham's kind of not his shtick, but like something he talks about in all of his specials is like his mental health, kind of. And that can either make you, I don't know, some people get upset by it, like it makes them upset because they feel bad for him or whatever. Some people think it's like get over yourself kind of thing. Evan, what do you have to say?
My comments on mental health in general.
Yeah.
Mental health is pretty good for you, but
Just get better. That's what we have to say.
yeah, just like feel better, please.
Yeah, just try it sometime. Maybe if you weren't a, small brain person who's like,
Yeah,
I'm sad today.
wrinkles in your brain, please.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm less at liberty to talk about this Bo Burnham special because I watched approximately 12 minutes and 38 seconds of it before.
Is that on the millisecond too?
I do not recall,
Okay.
Mark, but
They should have that on Netflix, like a stat, like to see how many like milliseconds you've watched.
I feel like I start a lot of movies and I just cannot will myself to finish them. But
It
I
happens.
I feel like I should make it known that I'm not a huge Bo Burnham fan. I'm not really a fan of his kind of shtick. I liked him a lot when I was in middle school, and I sort of just gravitated to any kind of edgy humor. Like I love South Park and whatever. I was like, oh, swears. It's funny. I couldn't get away with saying that, I'll tell
No, never.
you. And that was kind of the appeal of it. But as I've gotten older and that area of comedy kind of waned, and then Bo Burnham himself kind of moved away from that era.
Mm.
And then every time I tried to go back to revisit some of his stuff, I'm like, oh, this is so Reddity. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Inside is pretty similar. Again, didn't watch it all. I got through his whole song about like, yeah, comedy is important, and you can tell he's using like hyperbole and irony to like inflate it, but like we know that's what he generally believes. So it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, from the clips that I've seen on Twitter, which again, probably not a good way to gauge a movie, it looks very honest or sincere, like he's really talking about things that really affect him. And to that, I say, happy for you though, bro, or sorry that that happened.
Not
Not
reading at
reading
all.
all that. Not reading all that.
Yeah. Um,
And again, I'm just not a fan of like when I look back on it, when I look back on his other specials, I'm just not a fan of his shtick.
okay.
I'm not a fan of that like I don't know. It's like I posted about it on Letterboxd, like the Orson Welles quote about Woody Allen, about how a kind of performative timidness, which sort of belies a latent narcissism, which is kind of the vibes I always get from any of Bo Burnham's stuff. And watching about like 12 minutes of his special, like him coding everything with like that self-protective irony, it's like, oh, so this is your therapy session that I'm sitting in on.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
it's not entertaining at all to me.
I think I think he's like I think he's pretty musically talented though. I want to say like he's got a decent voice and he made some pretty catchy songs. He's always kind of been that way. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm doing it all yourself is pretty hard and I guess maybe it I don't know, do you think it almost wants people judge it more because everything he did was clearly by himself? I mean, his other shows he definitely all wrote and stuff, but I don't know.
I think, yeah, I think the fact that this is all him is what makes it extra that ish. I think that's
Mhm.
what did so that watching this was a physically painful task for me to do because it's all him. There's no escaping him from the first screen, from the first moment. His face is takes up a majority of your screen,
Mhm.
or basically all of it. And
Yeah.
sometimes he's in different positions. Sometimes the lighting is just colorful. Um, from the pictures I've seen, I haven't gotten to the part yet. He gets naked. Can you weigh in on this, Declan?
Yeah, it's not like nothing's visible if that's what you mean. But yeah, I don't know if it's like in a metaphor way, like all his emotions are out there kind of thing. But
See, that's the
yeah,
thing. Vulnerable, but it's not vulnerable because like it's like, oh, but it's so the self-awareness and the irony that's like it's steeped in
yeah.
couch any feelings of vulnerability.
And
But I don't know. I've only seen 12 minutes of it, so I can't even say.
no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think like his fans though, the ones that are really hardcore about him are like a certain group of people who you could probably figure out if you did some digging on the internet, but it's like yeah, those people I think who are super super fans of him like a lot of the stuff he's saying and I'm trying to tread lightly here so I don't get canceled. But a lot of the stuff he says is kind of like stuff, at least for me, that I already knew about myself or the world, kind of. And, understandable, not many people are saying stuff like that like he does. And he does it in his musical way. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, there was nothing I really took away from it other than obviously he's pretty talented. He's, musically capable of doing all this stuff and making it all by himself, but I don't know if there was anything I really like, not that I go watch it to learn something, but if that makes sense.
Very safe to me.
Mm,
I remember when what was it called? Nanette, when that was really big. It was like a woman just kind of talking about, the struggles of like I didn't watch it, but I remember it was like the whole thing was like, oh, it's like an anti-comedy comedy show. It's about, the awfulness of the patriarchy and stuff like
mhm,
that. And I didn't watch it. I was kind of thinking, I mean, it sounds bad. I mean, the struggle, I mean, that she's facing sounds bad,
mhm.
but I don't want to laugh. It's not funny to me.
Yeah, laughing at people's misfortune, and I think the one thing I think Bo Burnham does well is that he is open, and that's fine. I hope it, maybe realizes other people if they have struggles mentally or anything like that. And yeah, you hope if he's struggling, he gets help. If anyone is watching struggling, they get help. But yeah, there's moments in this where he kind of does it in a performative way, and that's fine. It's his special. He gets to make the choices he makes. So yeah, just throwing that out there. If you're interested in seeing like a new type of comedy, if you've never seen his stuff, yeah, I recommend checking it out. But I think there's almost like two ways you can feel about it. I think, and I'm not hating on this, because I actually think it was pretty decent. And but yeah,
It's just, I agree with what you've said that and like, I think the statements he's saying about mental health are valid. It's more the presentation.
sure.
It's the form that I object to, not the content.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's like,
There's.
hey, don't kill yourself, man. It's like, why
Mhm.
you have to be so Reddit about it? Just say what you mean.
Yeah,
Just say what you mean.
yeah. Yeah, this is the most obviously Bo Burnham thing that he's ever done, though, obviously, because it's all himself. So
Yeah.
if you don't like him, you probably won't like this. If you like him, you'll probably like this.
Matt
Um,
Floyd's The Wall was written and directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda. That sounds like an enjoyable experience to you. You should watch it. If
yes,
it doesn't, then don't watch it.
yeah. So yeah, those are our thoughts, I guess. Yeah, I still like Bo Burnham. I liked watching Eighth Grade a lot. Um,
Yeah, eighth grade I did like. I thought that was a good film.
yeah, and I like his old stuff. Like he made some pretty funny vines back in the day.
Oh yeah, I loved his. Again, I was in middle school, but I loved his YouTube videos. Those
Yeah,
was
yeah. So So, Bo, if you're listening right now, um, you're welcome on the show anytime. How about that?
Yeah, don't get mad at me. Maybe if I watch this whole thing later on at some date and I find I love it, I will add an addendum to this video.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding, I will not. I probably will not watch this in its entirety.
Yeah. Um. So the other thing we wanted to talk about was that Edgar Wright tweeted he saw was it a movie coming out later this year?
Yeah, he said it was one of the most talked about movies of last year. So we know it's a movie that's been pushed to this year.
Okay. And he said he saw it, and he said it was everything you want it to be, something like that. A lot of people thought he was talking about Dune, I think. What do
Not
you think?
from what I hear.
Yeah, not Dune.
And it's not the French Dispatch.
Okay.
Also thought he was talking about, but it's not that. I think it
Okay.
I think it might be, I don't know if it was pushed back to this year, but that Marilyn Monroe biopic
Mm,
that Anna
Ana
Down,
de Armas.
yeah.
You think it was that?
It could have been that. I don't know. I really don't know what it is, but
Yeah, I just don't know like what he could have seen. Like I was thinking, what was I thinking it was? I saw some people say like Top Gun Maverick.
was
Um
that like an anticipated movie though?
I guess since the first one's a classic kind of.
Yeah, I guess. If it is
Um
that, I'm going to be disappointed.
mhm.
I think it could also be. I mean, there's a lot of anticipated movies this year.
There is.
There's Annette, which he has also been talking about, the film Annette.
What's
With
that?
Annette, it's a biopic about someone, I believe.
Okay. Um I always
Biopic,
thought by the way that it was biopic, not biopic.
biopic, it might be. Oh
No,
no,
I think you're right. I just never thought it was.
I'm looking it up. I was wrong. I was thinking of something else. This is a musical starring Adam Driver.
Okay. Oh, Adam Driver sang in a Marriage Story.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I didn't see Marriage Story.
Oh, by the way, if anyone's a fan of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, they finally put the Brie Larson song on digital streaming music, so I'm very happy right now because that's a great song.
Resident Scott Pilgrim fan, definitely get.
Resident Scott Pilgrim fan, yeah. I'm trying to figure out what Edgar I could have seen. Joker 2 comes to mind. The Friends reunion, maybe he saw that. Or
Maybe
maybe he was late to the party and thought he was early. And
maybe he saw the first Joker movie and was like, "Oh,
he
what if
might have seen
what
Fast
if
and Furious 9.
what if it's like a joke? He saw like one of the most anticipated films of 2020 that like came out in 2020. Like
What
maybe
if
he saw
it's
one in 1984 and was like, I didn't hate it.
what if it's anticipated for him and not anyone else?
Yeah, my own film, Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That could be because remember when we talked about WandaVision and Paul Bettany was like, "There's a big cameo in episode 8, the finale, that I have some great scenes with," and it was himself.
See, that was the coolest thing anyone in the MCU has ever done.
Yeah.
Is strategically build up fans' hopes, building up a little boy's hopes and smashing their dreams to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It's
They were
different.
like, Patrick Stewart's joining the MCU.
Yeah. Just like I really hope there's more of this in the future. Maybe this is the way, film news is going. And if
So do
so,
you so do you think it's a good chance he saw his own movie?
maybe he hasn't seen Last Night in Soho yet. Maybe he's
Yeah.
got his ghost director working on
Yeah, right. Um, what other movies like I doubt it was any of the Marvel movies because obviously he isn't working with Marvel. He was supposed to make Ant-Man.
And he was too rockin' for the MCU.
It's too cool.
Wouldn't that be the greatest accomplishment, being fired from the MCU for just being too rockin'?
Yeah. The other one I just saw is maybe James Bond. Do you think?
I don't think. I think he said
Okay.
that it wasn't No Time to Die.
Okay. It wasn't No Time to Die, and it wasn't Dune. Um, let's see. What else?
Baby Driver 2.
So we're in June right now,
Right.
and the biggest movies, A Quiet Place 2 just came out, and so did Cruella.
Cruel.
We next month we have In the Heights.
Oh yeah. I don't I don't think he's talking about in
Oh,
that.
oh, sorry. June it's June now? Oh, In the Heights comes out in a week. Okay, so it's probably not that. Um, we could have Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, starring James Corden and Margot Robbie.
I think it might definitely be that.
Um,
We need to do a live stream of that movie
we
here.
should we should do a reaction to the reaction to the reaction. Um, these are all 2022 movies. We have um Bob's Burgers the movie. We have the Camila Cabello Cinderella movie.
He Now I am looking at his feed. He has talked about the film Annette a few
Okay.
times, and he's talked about his own documentary, The Sparks Brothers.
Okay.
So could be either of those.
I'll tell you what one I actually think it is. It's either maybe it's the new Ghostbusters movie, but
I don't foresee that being good though. Is why I hold judgment on it.
yeah, that's fair. Um, Venom Let There Be Carnage, no. Where's the one I actually thought it was? I saw one that I was like, okay, this is actually possibly it. Um,
My money is on the Anna de Armas movie or Annette or possibly he was
oh,
hoodwinking us.
I'll tell
What?
you what my money's on. Matrix 4.
Possibly.
I think that might be it.
They got the Wachowskis back to do it, right? So
I believe so, yes.
they've been hitting some home runs with Jupiter Ascending and Speed Racer.
Speed
And
Racer. I remember that.
I remember that movie being like punched in the jaw, but like as a film.
Uh-huh.
It was
The
like,
King's Man.
oh, the King's Man, right?
I'm a big fan of the Kingsman movies.
Well, there's only been two.
Yeah, I like them both.
There's enough time for you to be let down. This one has like Ray Fiennes, and it's set like in
It's
like
a prequel. It's the first Kingsman.
the King's Man. Like the king has a guy.
Yeah, I guess so. He's just one man.
He's like Ray Fiennes plays the king, and then
I, it's possible, yeah. Totally.
John Krasinski in a British accent plays, or James Corden plays the king's jester.
He James Corden should be the king.
Right, he's the king, and then Maximilian Robespierre is the hero. That's
I
why
think
your right says it was really good.
no, I think Timothy Chalamet would be the jester because he'll get like his practice singing and dancing and for Wonka in that one.
For Wonkino,
Yeah.
young Wonka,
Yes.
Wonkanet.
Um, do you want to talk about A Quiet Place too?
Yeah.
Because I
So
didn't see it.
this time the roles are reversed. I saw a film
Yes.
in in contrast to the Bo Burnham. Now I saw a film, and
Mhm.
Declan hasn't. But I thought A Quiet Place 2 was fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you liked the first, I'm not going to say if you like the first one, you like the second one, because I thought the first one was pretty dull, but I thought the gimmick was fun enough to like keep me entertained. It's like, okay, the monsters can hear you, but they can't see you. So we gotta be silent.
Yes.
And that's the obstacle. That's the obstacle you're working for the whole movie is how can we make it as quiet as possible? And I thought that was really interesting how they worked around that.
Mm-hmm.
But in this movie, it's like not that's kind of thrown out the window. There's a lot of
Oh,
dialogue.
really?
There's a lot. Yeah, there's like way more dialogue, way more music, which I thought
Uh-huh.
both of which kind of it undercut the one thing about the first movie that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say now I haven't seen the first one, but did you feel like they kind of like retconned the whole being quiet thing?
No, it's still it makes sense still. It's not like the plot is kind of like really boring and confusing. Like it's
Okay.
basically just a follow-up from the first one. And it feels like a retread of the first movie.
Hmm.
Like it's the first movie again, except there's more chase scenes.
Hmm.
And for a horror film too, like there's no scares at all. Like surprisingly, not one scary thing happens.
Okay.
And sometimes it'll get like tense, like it'll be like, oh my god, maybe something cool will happen. And then the moment the monsters show up, like they look so weird and goofy. Like
Mm-hmm.
they look little spiders, like spiders that don't have bodies, they're just all legs. And they walk
um.
in this really goofy manner. It's like kind of funny, and it makes any scene that's supposed to be scary, like it deflates all the tension from it.
So so yeah, I haven't seen the first one, but what was I gonna say? Okay, so at the end of the first one, did you think like there was because I think they didn't plan on doing a sequel, but when the first one ended and then you like heard they were doing a second one, did you think like that makes sense? Like the story ended with a way to continue,
Yeah, I thought the story definitely, and I thought they were purposefully going like, okay,
leaving the door open?
yeah, we can make a sequel.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like it was the plan from the beginning.
Well, they are making a part 3 apparently.
Yeah, I have no doubt about. Simply enough, the first one didn't really feel that. I wasn't that huge a fan of the first one, so having the second one didn't feel like that much of a betrayal or anything for me, you know.
Okay. I also heard Emily Blunt's not in it a lot.
She's not in it all that much. There is a good amount of Cillian Murphy though. So
Okay.
oh,
Killian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy, is that how you pronounce
I
it?
know, isn't it like a little sad? I think Cillian count sounds cooler.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy, huh?
Yeah, of Peaky Blinders fame.
I didn't watch Peaky Blinders. I've only ever really seen him in the Dark Knight movies and stuff like
Yeah, right. I've seen him in Inception too. I watched an episode of Peaky Blinders. I need to continue watching though.
that. And this is the first not Nolan thing I've seen him in.
Yeah,
And
yeah, he's a Nolan boy.
he's pretty good in it. But it's like it's so not interesting.
Okay,
Like that's my only issue with it. It's very not interesting.
I think that's a pretty fair issue to have.
Yeah. And it's a good, I guess, I want to say it's a good popcorn movie, but I walked in with the hope of it being like a Godzilla versus Kong, like a solid popcorn
Yeah,
film.
that was a good popcorn movie, I must say.
Yeah, that's a good movie you can just watch with your friends, just like
Yes.
hang out with. And I hung out with watching A Quiet Place Part 2, and I just found myself really bored the whole time.
Okay. I'll watch the first one and report back, I think. And if I'm interested enough, maybe I'll go see part 2 in theaters.
Do you have any? Have you seen any of part two? Like, do you know anything about it? Have you seen any clips from it or anything?
Well, I kind of know like how the first one ends. Um, so I kind of know like spoilers who's not in part two, I guess. If that makes sense. um, no, I don't really know like what happens in it.
John Krasinski is in this movie
Yeah.
for a brief period.
hmm Yeah, he did. His handprints are all over it, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I don't know if he directed this one, did he?
He did.
Uh,
Yeah. Do you wish you would have seen Cruella?
I do not. Listen, there's the one interesting thing that I think it could have been fun to watch about Cruella has been plastered all over Twitter for a week. The
Yeah.
one interesting plot detail. And when I saw that, I was like, that's insane.
hmm
Now that I know that the rest of the movie cannot possibly top that.
I kind of want to watch it just like I love Emma Stone. I love Emma Stone, but I kind of want to watch it just to laugh at it.
I think it could be very funny.
Yeah.
Like this has the possibility to be like not Cats level funny, but at least like maybe watching Spiral level funny. Spiral, the Saw movie.
Chris Rock workshopping comedy in a horror movie.
That's he actually does that. That's what's so crazy. There's the scene where he's walking from like one, like they're going down to a crime scene, and he's like, "You know the thing about marriage? Marriage is," and it's like a guy was mutilated down there.
I want to see if I can find it. What's it like if I looked up Chris Rock Spiral monologue, would it come up?
Look up Chris Rock's Spiral like marriage monologue or something. I just remember he's talking about like being married, and he says it like a stand-up routine, like not even like he's acting. Like he delivers it in the same way you would deliver stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Um it's good. It's good. Okay, so what else is there to talk about? Oh, you wanted to talk about the lineup for Cannes Film Festival?
Yeah, there was a bit of a I'd been calling it cans my
Yes.
whole life,
Mm,
really. I'd never been talking about it out loud, though, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But the movies will be screening in competition include Annette, Bergman Island.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Annette was the really one I wanted to talk about. But that will be screening. A lot of old classics will be screening, like The Innocents will also be going up.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one I wanted to talk about. I remember there's like a new one. It's being screened at Cannes. Right, The French Dispatch is being screened.
Yes, yeah, Wes Anderson's new movie.
So what's up for the Palme d'Or? Who knows? I know
Is that the award?
that's the award that you win. I
Okay.
know Spike Lee is the head of this one,
Okay.
so that's something.
Yeah, I think the French Dispatch is, I mean, it's got a very good cast. I don't like its chances, to be honest. I know it's one I want to see.
I also want to see also Bernadetta, new Paul Verhoeven movie.
Mm.
Paul Verhoeven, the director behind RoboCop and Starship Troopers.
Oh, I see. All right. So yeah, anything else you want to talk about from there?
No. Oh wait,
Okay.
I'm now hearing that The Innocents is not the movie The Innocents that I'd heard of,
Hmm.
not the classic film The Innocents,
Hmm.
but in fact a new movie also called The Innocents,
Um,
not the
okay.
Jack Clayton film.
Do you want to hear a plot leak for a movie which first trailer is probably coming out soon? Potentially a plot leak.
Sure.
Okay, so if you don't want to hear this, you can skip past. We'll talk about it for like 5 minutes, maybe. But Spider-Man No Way Home, we know some old villains are coming back. So it looks like Reese Ifans is coming back as the Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
And it looks like Willem Dafoe and like Sandman, and it looks like they're all coming back. And the plot leak that I was watching a YouTube video, and it said like it's pretty much confirmed all these guys are coming back, but Doctor Strange is like keeping all these villains in like the sanctum, like in his basement, and then like Tom Holland gets tricked and sets them free. That's basically what I heard the plot leak was.
It's this. Oh my
If
god.
that's true, I would hate that.
How? I mean, I guess he is a dumb teen because he's a dumb kid. It's
Yeah.
also everything about that I don't like. It's weird that Doctor Strange would just have these people come to,
Yes. Yeah, that I don't buy that at all. I think Doctor Strange is smarter than that.
and he's not like these aren't the villains you've listed. They're not like Thanos, you know.
No.
Like what the green. All of these are just guys.
Yeah.
These are
I
guys
know.
who you. Why are you keeping them like they're threats to humanity? The Green Goblin is a guy who's got a flying scooter, who
Yeah.
like throwing
Yeah.
punch bombs at people.
I'm gonna be honest, this movie could turn into Space Jam 2 like really quickly. Because if they're bringing back both villains from the Andrew Garfield ones, and they're maybe bringing back like a couple Tobey Maguire ones, I'm like, I mean, obviously I have to see how they do it and stuff, but
I think post Lego movie, people kind of turn these into like big intellectual property dumps.
yeah.
Like, hey, look at all these characters you've got the rights for.
Yeah, I just don't want to see like a lot of villains. I like the ones we set up in the previous Spider-Man movies because they're probably still out there. Michael Keaton and Jake Gyllenhaal.
And
Um,
didn't they talk to like what's his name? The Scorpion? That was in the post.
Scorpion, yeah. Like I would have liked it if it was just Electro and then Doc Ock and then Willem Dafoe's back too, Green Goblin, and that's like the Sinister Six.
Right. You only need 6 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if we also have all these villains with Tom Hardy, Venom, and Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Raven the Hunter.
and Woody Harrelson, yeah, then I think it could get messy really quickly.
Yeah, it's lame and it keeps getting lamer.
Yeah.
That's my write up on these films.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So you can tell we're excited about Loki premiering next week.
And we talked about the trailer and
Yeah, we talked about the trailer. No, I was just yeah, Loki's coming out next week, and I'm kind of excited to talk about it because I think it could be like wacky and fun, maybe.
I think this will be like light, amusing. I don't foresee this being a very big thing that people
No,
kind of radio silence about it.
I think it's just gonna be Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson running about.
Well, like remember in the weeks leading up to WandaVision, that was like a big thing.
Yeah.
After WandaVision, people stopped caring about these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was kind of a bit of a letdown.
yeah, it's kind of like a wet firework.
Yeah.
The more Marvel news, you hear that I forgot who said it. Let me find his name. But a source within Marvel
Mhm.
has said that the Multiverse of Madness film is to be a source of Michael Waldron.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. I bet
I don't either.
sure someone in the audience is yelling through the screen that he's like the biggest man ever. Oh, he's just a producer and screenwriter.
Okay.
Oh, and he's a writer for Loki.
Oh, well, there you go. What did he say?
Doctor Strange is to be very Sam Raimi, and
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
yeah, visually it is to be nothing like we've heard before.
Wow.
Which that's what they say every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
You know what they also say true too in all the trailers for superhero things? The world is changing.
Yeah, they always say the world is changing.
Hmm.
That's just the world. It's constantly changing.
It's constantly changing. What are we gonna do about it? Are you excited to see a very Sam Raimi movie?
I'm. I mean, I guess Sam Raimi's last movie wasn't very Sam Raimi-ish, if you're gonna say Oz the
Hmm.
Great and Powerful. But I'm excited. We had some Sam Raimi superhero films that started off this century,
Yeah, yeah, we
and
did.
they're, in my opinion, some of the best superhero films of all time.
Well, there you go.
And I think Sam Raimi's a good director. Maybe they got him to do, like the weird quote, like the superhero that's known as like the weird one,
Uh huh.
or like the strange fantastical one. And like, okay, you got the director of Evil Dead and like the Evil Dead series to do that. That's a great choice.
Hmm.
Like make them weird and spooky and campy, and like it should look have the camera like run around and do like crazy stuff. And like, of course, it's Disney, and Disney will never risk alienating its audience, which is, I mean, fine.
Yeah.
No, which I hope that this movie is good and not that they don't sort of kowtow to this mouse that's like, oh, I don't want this to be too different. I don't want it to be too like good looking, or
Hmm.
else people will be distracted by like the slop we're feeding them. Which now that I say that, it sounds really religious. But you know what? I just hope they say that about everyone, but this is the one I hope it's genuinely true. I respect Sam Raimi as an artist and as a director. So
Hmm.
I think I genuinely think this one might look different. I feel like Sam Raimi has enough say as just a filmmaker that he can make it his own way.
Yeah, I agree. And with like them letting with like we saw how different the Eternals look too. That could definitely be the way they're going now. So that'd be cool.
Yeah. And like a lot of directors who have like their own style, a lot of times like you give them huge budgets and it kind of flattens out to this malaise.
Hmm.
Look at like Tim Burton, for example. Like there still is that Tim Burton style, but you look at any of his recent movies and they're all like Dumbo or Alice in Wonderland, and it's like they gave him $250 million and he made a movie that's just this kind of flat, ugly looking thing that's kind of dark and has some sort of
I
spine.
never saw that one.
Which one?
The Dumbo movie?
Yeah, I watched part of it.
Yeah.
Once again, this is that one I turned off because it was just so boring.
Hmm.
I thought that we were gonna be able to be like, oh, it's spooky Dumbo,
Not
voiced by,
enough Danny DeVito, I guess.
yeah. I don't know. Big Fish is pretty good, so who knows? And that
Um,
suppressing himself.
yeah. I forget what I was gonna say something wise and intelligent, but I forget what it was. Um, so yeah. um, did you oh, you know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say Edgar Wright's Ant-Man movie was too wacky for phase two, but now these seem to be the kind of movies they want.
See, that's the thing. I feel like if fully unleashed Edgar Wright was too much for the MCU, then you think fully unleashed Sam Raimi would definitely be.
Mm.
I mean, if the director of, you know, Scott Pilgrim versus the World and like Shaun of the Dead was too much for Marvel to rein in, then I'm sure the director of the Evil Dead movies and Darkman
Yeah.
must be a little too much for Marvel to do. But maybe because it's phase three, because Sam Raimi has been working in the industry for like 35 years,
Yeah.
maybe he'll have more of a say. Or I guess, I don't know, 41 years, however long ago Evil Dead came out.
Hmm.
That was his
Yeah, I
first
don't know.
movie, and that was a home run. So
Uh-huh.
came out of the gate swinging.
Yeah. All right.
Oz the Great and Powerful, even though that one was kind of like, once again, boring in that kind of big budget flattenness that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was dealing with that, it was still different looking. Still was interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but it was interesting.
Um, one more thing I want to say before we get to our letterbox reviews. Did you see Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was cast in Damien Chazelle's new movie?
I did not see that.
Oh, well, he is.
Hey, that's your guy.
That is
Damien
my guy. Whiplash.
Lilland.
Gas, Will Allen. Yeah, I also love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I'm okay with this.
I did not know this. This is news to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm interested by it. Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Samara Weaving, also in the cast. So, sounds good to me. I mean, I honestly wouldn't have cared who was in this cast, but they have good people in it, so it makes me more excited.
That's another director. Came out with a home run, followed up with a super home run.
Mm-hmm. It's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do with our new with your new screenplay.
Yeah, and with all the money we have to make movies.
Yes.
All right. Shall we review things on Letterboxd
All right. Yes.
or read reviews? I mean.
Our famous last section. We must repeat our slogan. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Letterboxd, you already lost. So,
So would you like to go first?
uh, sure.
All right.
My first review is for Charlie Chaplin's 1936 silent film, Modern Times.
Okay.
This review is given by Imperial Leatherosa. It gives it 1/2 star and says, terrible. The main character was a complete buffoon, which I find very freeing.
Okay.
I wonder if to outside people, my review of my uninformed, half-hearted review of Inside, of the first 10 minutes of Inside, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We're going to be like, hey, that's the point. It's
Yeah.
sad and
You're
self,
you just don't understand.
which, hey, I am not, I'm honest. I have not seen the final 75 minutes, so
The final 75. Um
final 75 minutes of this 87-minute long special.
Speaking of specials, this is a review from Silent Dawn. It's a bit of a long one, and this is for the Friends the reunion, Friends 5 the reunion. And this one says, "No reason to rate this, really, as I've never seen the show in full, only bits and pieces. So watching this was like putting on a special feature for a movie I've never seen. The vibes were off. The reunion is sadly hosted by James Corden, a very scary man who is seemingly everywhere, as omnipresent specter who's an omnipresent specter who says every word in question at maximum volume. Isn't he mic'd up? Why is he yelling all the time? But try as he might, James Corden is no match for the pleasant energy of the Friends cast, who gracefully stumble through this reunion saying, "Remember this," and chuckling while they think about their $4 million payouts. They should have written a new episode for the cast, but it clearly took a lot of effort for them to drive over to the Warner Brothers studio lot to simply see their original sets and say, "Wow," so I get it. Best part is anything involving Matt LeBlanc, who is the funniest of the group and basically shows up just to vibe.
I You saw the special,
Yeah.
so you can know, was James Corden that obtrusive in it?
Yeah. I mean, it's James Corden.
So he brightened up our days as he always.
Yes, yes. He is so loud.
I guess that is the one adjective you cannot use to describe James Corden is like timid,
Yeah.
reserved, or funny, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So our next review comes from 2008's Speed Racer. The review comes from Jackson, who gives it 4 stars. It's
Mm-hmm.
Baby Driver, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
That's the review.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see.
This one was once again a bit of a wet firework, I suppose. But
That's a good term. I like that.
yeah, I coined that.
Is that new?
Wet firework, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just came up with that like when I said it a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I have a 3-star review for F9, the ninth Fast and Furious movie from Jesse Hazinger. Hazinger. And this says yet another instance of the poster promising something that the movie cannot deliver: multicolored smoke. It's a little disappointing.
What is disappointing? I do the one thing I'm very happy about in our new turn of films that we've seen
Yeah.
is that we're bringing back color. We're bringing back like obnoxiously colorful movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Originally,
I like that.
like the Last Night in Soho trailer, I think we mentioned that he might have been paying homage to Mario Bava, Dario Argento kind of thing, and
Mm.
see that like with Uncut Gems, with all of this stuff. Get those Brian De Palma colors back in there.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson, he uses a lot of big fancy colors. That's my one thing about with the MCU, that for a bit, like
They didn't use any
movies that
color.
are
I
based
saw that
on,
on Twitter. Yeah.
yeah, for movies that are based on comic books, they're weirdly like dilapidated and dry
Mm-hmm.
and
Until Taika Waititi came along.
until yeah, Thor. That's the one movie that looked like colorful,
Yeah.
looked like a comic book. And I guess Guardians of the Galaxy too, the first one.
Sure. Yeah, the first one was kind of dark.
Yeah, actually, you're right. The second one, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the second one was a lot better in terms of color. I like the first one more.
Yeah. But just visually, in terms of visual storytelling, I think
La La Land's
color is
got
a
some
cool
color.
thing you can play with. Not every movie has to have that same washed out filter to it.
Yeah. Yeah, colorful movies are better.
We're bringing color back.
Yeah.
When we're shooting your script, we're going to use some color.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to saturate some colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. If anyone wants to help us out who's listening,
If anyone wants to send money to our GoFundMe.
let us know. Yeah.
So our final review, or my final review, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, is for The Boss Baby
Oh, okay.
from Danny Breedlove.
Mm-hmm.
She says, Alec Baldwin is one hot baby.
Wow. That's child endangerment, possibly.
So exactly, Danny Breedlove is in fact an anagram. If you rearrange the letters, it says Drake Bell.
Yeah, if we learned anything, keep the boss baby away from Drake Bell. All right, I have one more. This is a review. Someone must have already seen it. This is for Joker 2, which we know is coming out. It's happening. There might be multiple Jokers in it if anyone saw that, which will be awesome. My fan cast is Matthew McConaughey. This is from Scientist Jack, and he says, in the sequel, Arthur Fleck will kill James Corden. Wouldn't that be something?
James Corden is like, you're laughing. All these people are dead and you're laughing.
Exactly.
And then the Joker kills himself because after listening to James Corden's stand-up routine.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Joker's in the car with James Corden. Is he the one's comedians in the car getting coffee? No, he's carpool
He's
karaoke.
carpool karaoke, yes.
Right. So maybe they're singing along to the Steve Miller Band's The Joker.
Right, right. I'm a Joker.
I'm a Joker.
But they just cut all the other lyrics out. It's just I'm a Joker.
I'm a Joker. I'm the Joker. And then, he strangles him with a piece of wire from the back seat.
Right. Yeah. So thank you, Jokers, for listening. Um, is there anything you watched this week that you want to talk about? I forgot to ask that.
Well, aside from watching A Quiet Place,
Hmm.
12 minutes of both. Well, I guess more than 12 because I did watch those clips that you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't watch much else. I did watch because I was a fool and spent lots of money on Criterion Blu-rays.
Oh, are they that expensive?
They are pretty expensive.
Hmm.
Criterion, yeah. Especially if you buy it from like Barnes and Noble or something,
Mm-hmm.
or you buy it from like the Criterion website. They can get kind of pricey.
Yeah.
But I watched the film Nightmare Alley, the classic noir film
Hmm.
about a con man at a carnival.
Yes.
Good. It's nice, atmospheric. I like noir though. I'm a sucker for any noir. I haven't
Yeah.
seen one that I've hated. So.
Um, I watched Eighth Grade, like I mentioned, and Bo Burnham special, but I also watched uh I was watching lower budget movies. This movie was only $1 million, even though that's still a lot. Just to inspire myself, and I watched the movie Short Term 12. The director's name is Destin Daniel Cretton, I think his name is, but he's doing Shang-Chi for Marvel now, so that's pretty cool. But the cast is pretty awesome. It's Brie Larson, John Gallagher Jr. He's more famous in like he was in Spring Awakening, the musical. Um,
He was in
we
Shameless,
have
right? Is that who I'm thinking of?
what was that?
He was in Shameless too, the show.
Oh, maybe I've never seen it.
Me neither.
Um, but he who else? Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's Rosa. And Rami Malek, my favorite Rami Malek performance because he just kind of stands there and nods. So that was great. And Lakeith Stanfield and Caitlin Dever are in this too. Yeah. So it's very good. I watched it on Peacock if you want to watch it because it was free. I don't own Peacock. I just watch some of their free stuff sometimes.
I,
So yeah.
Streaming services should be more like Peacock.
Yeah, they just throw free movies on there every now and then, and it's like,
I watched Burn After Reading on there a few weeks back.
uh-huh.
It was great.
Yeah, yeah. I just look there every now and then to see what movies are free, and I'm like, cool. So,
Check
yeah,
the movie. Then all the movies are free.
yeah. All right. I think that's it for episode the 21st.
First, which is being released on June 3rd,
Right.
not June 21st. Oh, June 4th.
It's June 4th. Yeah. Minor amendment. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you next Friday. Peace.